have to sell is yourself. When it comes to getting bookings, set yourself apart. You really do. We're going to have questions later. I'm going to run through a whole lot of stuff really, really fast, so bear with me. And I really would prefer you to get out a pen and paper for this. I'm a huge believer in actually physically writing stuff down because your brain registers it differently than when you're typing it into something. So pull out your pen, pull out your paper, and take notes physically for this. Anybody here want more bookings?
Yes.
Yeah. Want more bookings?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So here we go. You need to be entertaining. Really, you need to be fun. You need to make something memorable. You need to tell jokes. You need to be different than anybody else you've ever been at a show with. Because I can't tell you how many times I have people who come up and tell me, oh my gosh, your show is so great. I've been to 30 other shows, and you're the best show that I've been to, and this one lady didn't know anything, and, so make sure that you set yourself apart from anybody else that they've ever been in front of. And be knowledgeable. We're going to cover this again here in just a little while with product knowledge. But you need to be knowledgeable. You need to know what you're talking about. If they ask a question, you need to have the answer ready for them. It makes you look like you know what you're doing, and you look more professional with your job. This is a job. It's a fun job, right? We talked about it in a real job. But it's still a job. You still need to know what you're talking about when you're standing in front of these people and trying to get them to buy something. They need to know why they should buy it, right? And then you need to be honest. This is something that's huge in my business. I don't sell somebody something if they don't really need it, period. Because I don't want them calling me back and saying, you sold me this and I'm really not using it. Sell them what they need. Don't sell them anything that they don't need, because you don't want to become that consultant, right? That is always trying to push on people to buy things that they're never, ever going to use. For example, when I'm selling the 11-inch grill pan versus the double burner grill pan, I will literally tell people, if you're only feeding 1 or 2 people, you can easily go with the 11-inch grill pan. But if you're feeding 3 or more people, or you just do a lot of cooking, then you really need to go with the double burner grill pan. And I will tell them, I'm not here to sell you something that you don't need. So if you're feeding 2 people, you can do your vegetables and your meat all at the same time in the 11-inch. You really can. And be passionate. I can't tell you how important that is. If you don't believe in what you're selling, you're not going to sell it. If you can't sell that, you're certainly not going to sell yourself and get the bookings either. So you have to absolutely love this product. And I believe that we do love this product, but I do know other people who, you've ever met that person who is messing around with like 3 different direct sales businesses trying to figure out which one they want to do? Well, then they really don't want to do any of them. Because when you are passionate about something, you only want to do one. You only want to sell one product. So make sure that that passion is in your show also. When people see me talk about this product, they can tell how much I absolutely love this product and how much I want it in their kitchen as well to help change their kitchen. And I will tell people at the beginning of the night, I will say, I'm here to change your life and change your kitchen. Whether it's by getting the product in your kitchen, by hosting a show and getting it for free in your kitchen, or by changing your life by offering this as a business opportunity. I'm going to change your life tonight in one way or another. And then be available. Now, this covers so much. Being available as far as time, before and after the show. People will remember that. They will remember that. They will want to come back to you. They will want to book with you again. They will tell their friends about you. You will get bookings out of nowhere because they have used the word of mouth to spread your name to get more bookings. So make sure you're available as far as your time goes. If somebody has a question, say text me. If you need to know how long you cook the chicken, just text me. Make yourself available with your time. Also, your attention. Give them your attention. It's so important to know that you have that you are giving somebody attention, right? It's like the recognition kind of concept, that John talks about. Attention is so important when they're talking to you, when they're asking questions. Make sure you're looking at them. Make sure you are answering their questions. And then again, answers. Make sure you have the answers. Make sure you have the answers. Don't look like an idiot up there trying to sell something and you don't even know what other functions it has, right? Make sure you have the answers for these people. And then be dependable. If you say you're going to send recipes out, send the recipes out. If you say you're going to be at the house 30 minutes prior to time, be at the house 30 minutes prior to time. These all add up to something that's going to make you exceptional and make you something different than other things that they've worked with in the past. And then be different. Because you want to stand out. You want to stand alone. You want to be different so that they remember you, right? Not the lady that was before you. I went through 2 consultants with Pampered Chef before I found the one that I just loved, because she was different. I remembered her more than I remembered the other 2 ladies that I went to. So that is something I think that's huge in your business, is be different. Crack a joke, right? I tell several jokes during my, and they're not like knock-knock jokes. I mean, they're product, right? So relate them into your product as you're demoing. Say again?
Such as.
All right, well, some of them get a little dirty. But, so one of the jokes I make is when I'm talking about the double burner grill pan and how your chicken can be grilled in 6 minutes. And I will say, you know, your charcoal can't even be ready in 6 minutes. And more than likely, they're not even off the couch in 6 minutes. But we all know that men can finish certain things in 6 minutes.
We're not videotaping or anything, don't worry.
So right there, they're laughing, they're having a good time. And, you know, the thing is that you're relatable. You're making these jokes, and you know, it's a woman joke, right? And I say it even in front of men. So, if there's a man at my show, I don't have a problem saying that. So, another thing another joke I say, this one's fairly new, I just kind of started it a few months ago. But when I fly the chicken in my baggie, and I'm presenting, you know, getting ready to talk about the meat tenderizer, I'll hold my bag up with the chicken breast there, and then I'll say, do I see how flat my breasts are? And I'll go, and I'll say, no, the ones in the baggie, right? So, you know, you're getting their attention, you're making them laugh, they're having a good time. That's as far as being different goes. So, if you want the full thing, just look on YouTube, my show's on there. All right, now we're going to get to product. Any questions real quick about anything as far as selling yourself? Because that's what they see first. They don't see the products first. When they walk into the door at your show, they're seeing you first. So make sure you sell yourself first, because then they're going to believe what you have to say about the product, which is what is to come. Okay? Sell yourself first. Okay, product knowledge. I can't tell you how important this is when it comes to shows. And it was so cool to hear Diane emailed me the other day, and it was really neat to hear you say that in your email, that you're really big on product knowledge, because I can't tell you that will literally set you apart from anybody else in this business. It really will. So many times I have people come up to me and say, I had no idea I could do that with this product. I had no idea I could do it. Even if I'm not demoing it, if they ask it, I'll fill them in on it, you know, because these people they're spending money on this stuff. Give them a reason to use it. Have the knowledge that they need, right? You don't just go buy a car and not test drive it. So give them what they need to know that they are purchasing the right product for themselves. So as far as selling the product and product knowledge, first thing I think that's always important is knowing the page numbers in the catalog. I know some people are like, what? Memorize them. But there's an easy way to memorize them, I promise you. If you know what you're demoing on a very regular basis, then those are the page numbers I memorize first. So, you know, like when September catalog came out, and I know that I demo the grill pan at every single show, then I know that that's on page 11, right? And I know the Rock Rocket's on page 3. And I know the guest special. Know what the guest special. Now that it's the same for 3 months, that's easy to memorize, okay? You know, that's on page 24 of the catalog. So the knives are on page 20. The manual food processors on page 24 and 25. You flip to page 1 more, page 26. That's when you have the spiral and slice, and you've got the scoop loop. No, spiral and slice is 24 and 25. But the scoop loop is page 26. You see where I'm going with this? And then what do I do at that moment? I am controlling their catalog viewing. So they're not flipping through, right? They're not flipping through the catalog while you're trying to talk about this, and they're all back on page 56. I am controlling where they go in the catalog. I am pointing them in that direction. So that kind of knowledge ties in with product knowledge, is where it's at in the catalog. Because you're going to send them there, and then hopefully we'll start reading about it, but you're getting ready to just reiterate what's in the catalog, and even more stuff that's not in the catalog, because hopefully you're doing research on some of these products outside of what is already in the catalog. You need to know how the products are made. People will ask you about BPA being in some of our products, and they need to understand that the BPA is never part of the product that actually touches the food. Did y'all know that? Yeah, everybody knows that? So like the handles on the rice cooker, I think, have BPA in them, but the actual internal part of the rice cooker doesn't have the BPA in it. I believe I'm correct on that, but I could be wrong. But things like that. So they need to understand it's not plastic, it's nylon. They need to know that if I tell you it's safe to cook in the microwave in it, it's literally safe to cook in it in the microwave. So many people will worry about microwave cooking. And you know, it depends on who you're talking to, but some studies have shown that food is actually healthier for you coming out of the microwave because it cooks faster, so it doesn't overcook and all the nutrients are cooked out of it by being in the oven for 5 hours. But again, it depends on who you ask. Some people believe that, some people don't believe that. Studies are different. But you want to give that information out there because if they want to believe that, they can believe it. And I tell them, you know, some studies show this and some studies show that. It just depends on your personal opinion and what you want to believe. So know how it's made. You need to understand that with the cookware, I sell a lot of cookware. I sell a ton of double burner grill pans. I had a show last week, I think I sold 4 grill pans between the double burner and the single burner grill pan. Because I'm demoing it, we're going to talk about that here in just a second. But you need to know how it's made. Why do I need to buy this set that's $250, right? Because that's what you're going to look at. If I go shopping, the first thing I'm looking at is the price. That's just the way I was raised. And most people are doing that. They're looking at the price. So I will go in, my cookware spiel is this. I will talk about everything you can do in the double burner grill pan first, so I give them all the pros about it. And I will tell them how they can use it from breakfast all the way to dessert if they choose. By this time in my show, I've already talked about the rock. So I will say, hey, you know, most of you were impressed with that rock, correct? Well, how would you like it if your food could be cooked even faster than what the rock can do? And most people are like, what? Because you can have your whole dinner done in 10 minutes in that grill pan. You really can in the double burner between your vegetables and your meat being grilled. You really can. And that's what people want these days. They want fast cooking. They don't want microwave cooking. The grill pan is a really great way to go as well. So I talk about how the pan is made. This is something I did research on like early into my business because I owned the Pampered Chef cookware before I was even a consultant. I was a die-hard, like junkie customer for 6 years before I started selling this product. So I pretty much owned everything in the catalog when I started, and including the cookware and the stainless cookware too. So I knew that I was passionate about the cookware and I wanted to sell the cookware. So I made sure that I had the knowledge that I needed in order to sell it. And I had a really good trainer when I first started. So she was really big into cookware also, so that helped. But you need to know that, most of us know that our pans aren't Teflon coated, but if you don't know that, you need to know that. You need to know that Teflon is literally one little like thin film that they line the inside of a pan with. That's why it scratches and that's why it peels. You need to understand that our nonstick material is actually baked in with the metal. It's adhered to the metal, so it's not one sheet that just lines the inside of the pan, so it's not going to scratch and come back out into your food. You also need to understand that the fumes that are created by this are non-toxic, whereas they are toxic with Teflon. And there's been some studies recently that have shown Teflon is now being associated with colon cancer. You know, and if you're around our generation, we grew up with Teflon-coated cookware. You know, that's kind of scary when you think about that. But this is the kind of stuff you need to relay back to your customers because they will relate to this. They can shake their head. And I will say, you know, anybody here have a Teflon-coated pan? And everybody raises their hand and say, can you tell me what it does? Can you tell me what it does? Because now they're answering their own question as far as why they don't need to have it. Okay? And I can tell them all day, right, why they shouldn't have it. But I'm the salesperson. I'm supposed to do that. You need to let them answer that question. So they'll give you the feedback as far as, yeah, it scratches, it peels, you know, it's horrible. So then I'll talk about the inside, how the inside of our cookware is made and how it contains titanium. And I'll say, do you realize they use titanium in hip replacements? And they do. They use them in dental work, they use them in wrists, they use them in like legs. They use titanium for a reason because titanium doesn't warp. So when I tell people to look at the price, what's the first thing you noticed when you opened up to page 11 about the double burner grill pan? And they'll say, the price. And I said, that's right. So let's talk about the $250 because I'm not here to hide it from you. I'm going to tell you why it costs that much, and I'm going to tell you why we can offer a lifetime guarantee on it. So then I go through and talk about the Teflon, and I talk about the titanium, and I'll say there's 2 benefits to titanium. Titanium doesn't warp. 2, titanium actually conducts and holds heat differently than aluminum. And I'll explain to people, have you ever picked up a big skillet and you can play frisbee with it because it's so light? That's because it has an aluminum core. And aluminum is very lightweight, but the problem with aluminum is it has hot spots because it conducts heat differently, and it warps very easily with high heat temperatures. So with titanium, you don't have that problem. That's how we can offer a lifetime guarantee on the cookware because it's not going to warp on you, and it's going to conduct heat more evenly, so you have an even heat distribution along your pan, even with the double burner going over 2 different burners. Most people don't have a bridge on their stovetop. Most people don't. So one of the biggest questions I get is, well, I have a big burner in the front, small burner at the back. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. As a matter of fact, at one of my shows, I forgot to turn on the back burner. And I had my chicken in the front, I had my onions and my bell pepper in the back, and I had it all cooking, and my 3 minutes were up, so it was time to flip my chicken, and I walked back and I was like, oh crap. That's when I noticed I hadn't turned on the back burner. I lifted up the press, the onions and the bell peppers were cooking. Wow. And it's because of the titanium, and it's because of the way it will grab that heat and it will distribute it all along. So I love telling that story. I will tell that story at my shows, you know, if I remember to. But that's huge. That's a big deal to know that the burner wasn't even on the back, but the onions and the bell peppers were already cooking. So titanium is so important. And when you talk about that, and I will say, you know, they use them in hip replacements. I will actually say that at my shows because it's relatable. And believe it or not, somebody in that show will say, oh, I've got it in my wrist, you know, or I've got it in my mouth, you know, because now it's relatable to them. You're giving them information that they don't realize they already know, but now it's in our product, so you can relate. Are you with me on that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, how it's made. So I'm very, very big about that. As far as the rock crock goes, I will always bring stoneware. So I don't demo stoneware in my show. As a matter of fact, I haven't demoed the deep cover baker since the rock crock came out. It collects the dust, poor thing. Or 4 of them, I should say. But because you can always sell down, you can't always sell up. So I'd rather take the rock crock and demo that. And if someone's like, oh, it's just a lot of money, well, let me tell you about the deep cover baker. But I can start with the product knowledge on the rock crock by relating it to the stoneware, because the rock crock is made very similar to what our stoneware is made out of, because it is a natural rock material, right? And it's got this high heat enamel coating, you know, and it's heat safe to 725 degrees. And I really put an emphasis on that. And I tell people it's a one-stop cooking vessel. One-stop cooking vessel. It works absolutely anywhere in your kitchen. And I'll tell them when the apocalypse happens, that's what I'm taking with me to cook my food. Right? So, you make little jokes like that. Excuse me. So, now that they've related the rock crock to the stoneware, they're going to be a little bit more comfortable as far as talking about the rock crock and going, oh, okay, so the biggest difference is going to be the coating, because now you put the soap on it, now you put it in the dishwasher, you've got the higher heat, you know, that sort of thing. You've got to be knowledgeable about your product. Along with the knowledge of the product, you need to understand the different uses for each product. One of the biggest things I'll say in my show is, excuse me, that we don't sell gadgets. We don't. And if somebody calls them a gadget, I correct them. I'll say, whoa, no. We sell tools. Because gadgets are good for what?
One thing.
And you can even say that in your show. And somebody will say, one thing. And you'll say, with Pampered Chef, no matter what you're buying, you're getting more than one use out of it. So this tool may cost you $26, but it's 3 in 1. So divide 26 by 3. So now you're getting one tool that does everything for, you know, roughly $8, right? Each tool is $8. You would pay that at HEB for it. So, I love to break things down. We'll talk about that here in a little bit as far as numbers go. So different uses. Citrus peeler. You guys are going to love this one. Some of you may already know this. I had a lady one time, because I always look for what else I can do with the product. And with the citrus peeler, yeah, you can cut it, you can peel it, but that's in the description. What else can you do with the citrus peeler, right? Well, somebody's apron string got lost up in the, you know, the little thing, and so they used their citrus peeler to go up in there and take that bad boy back out. I mean, but you just hurt yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Right? The Twix-It clips, we sell them for chips and frozen bags of vegetables and loaves of bread, but if you clip the bottom of a soft taco, your meat doesn't fall out when your kids pick it up to eat it.
Oh, get out.
How many people at your show would relate to that? You pick up a soft taco and everything falls out, and you're like, oh, God, keep that meat tortilla, would you? So pick up the Twix-It clip the bottom of it. My kids will not eat a soft taco until they have their right thing.
That's a great.
See, so I mean, even it's not just Cookware you need to have product knowledge about and other ideas about and what the multifunctions are. My sister uses the Twix clips to pin her daughter's hair back while they're eating dinner, so she uses them as hair clips. So find the more in the product. You're going to sell more product, but you also sound more knowledgeable about the product. They want to know what all you can do with it. And again, like I said, not just for the cookware and not just for the high-price items, but even those $5 items. The scoop loop, if you haven't discovered it yet, actually takes the root end out of a head of lettuce, iceberg lettuce, without banging it on your countertop and digging your nails into it. Okay? I tested it. It works beautifully on that. So some of you may know that, some of you may not know that, but if you didn't, you know it now. That's another selling aspect of it, because people do that. They will bang that head of lettuce on the countertop and then dig that root out, and now you can use the scoop loop to do that. Let's see here. Cross-selling items. This is part of product knowledge. What goes with the grill pan? When I sell the grill pan, if I'm selling the double burner grill pan, I'm offering the chef's tongs. I'm like, you sure? Right. But if they're buying the double burner, they don't get the tongs. But I'm demoing the tongs, so I'll say, you really should get the chef's tongs, because if you're going to invest, and that's a key word, especially when you're talking about knives and cookware, if you are going to invest this kind of money into your kitchen, you need to make sure you have the right tools to go with it to take care of it. So I'll say, do you want the chef's tongs? Now, a lot of times they'll say, no, you know what, Susie booked a show, so I'm gonna get it at her party. That's not a problem. Just want to make sure you've got what you need. So we'll make sure we get, and I will remember that when she comes to the next party. I'm like, you ready for the chef's tongs? It's a weird thing for me. I just remember things like that. So you should do a cross-selling exercise at your meetings. If you're doing meetings, you need to, have 10 women stand up and hand them all a different product, and then have them, give you 3 ideas, 3 other products that product goes with. It's a it's a big exercise that will expand people's mind on what they can sell along with that. But that goes along with product knowledge. Product knowledge is not just how it's made. It's other things that go with it. It's recipes that go with it. The correct recipes to go with it. And let's see, I'm looking at my notes here. Okay, so this is, we're really talking about this in order to get bookings, right? You want to know how to get bookings. So product knowledge is huge on getting bookings. But another thing for me as far as getting the bookings is demoing the right product. So you with me on this? People find it, people kind of, I think, are surprised when I tell them that I never demoed the large bar can. Because I don't want to sell a $36 product, I want to sell a $200 product, right? I don't want to sell, I'll sell food processors all day long, that's not a problem either. But you have got to demo the right product. That's not only going to get you sales, but will get you the bookings. So if I'm demoing a $250 set, double burner grill pan set, and I'm demoing the rock, and I'm demoing the food processor, and I'm demoing the chef's tongs and the can opener and the tenderizer, and I've got the stainless steel bowl with me. I take one of those to every show. They're looking at the $250, right? And then they're looking at the food processor, and that rock happens to fall right in the middle. I don't have a problem selling the rock because you know what? It's not $250, so $135 sounds a lot more reasonable than a $250 grill pan set. However, they want the grill pan. So there's your booking right there. Because at any time they can get it 50% off.
Why is it doing that, Patty?
Yes. We're going to do that.
It's going small. So big.
I did 4 of those.
You're good.
And because of product knowledge, I give a lot of product knowledge during my show. A lot. And I felt like I was gypping my customers at a station-style show because the person that was the people that were at the double burner grill pan got to hear it. And the people doing the cake and the rock didn't get to hear about this. And after 4 of them, I had one very rude lady that basically made me go, screw this, I'm not doing station-style shows anymore because apparently she couldn't get the mayonnaise out of the measure-all cup into the food processor without getting it all over the countertop. She got an attitude about it. I was like, all right, we're done with this. So I don't have a problem getting the mayonnaise into the manual food processor, right? So I know that they said in the trainings, you have to let go of the control. No, I'm not going to let go. Because I feel like they weren't getting the knowledge. Like I left literally going, oh my God, she didn't get to hear about this, and she didn't get to hear about this, and I didn't do a good job. I was being harder on myself. I felt like I did not do a good job that night. And when I leave, I want to know that I've left with them knowing absolutely everything about what I just put in front of them. You know, if I leave and if my show sales are like $400, I will all the way home. I will be like, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? This is not normal. I did something not, you know. And then I'll go, oh my God, I forgot to say this. Or I'm kind of hard on myself as far as that goes. So, but no station style shows for me. And I don't have a short show either. So if you're going to watch my YouTube video, get comfortable.
It's not too.
I share something about that because before the station style shows, now I do a lot of power. I still do a lot of power cooking shows, and I kind of do a hybrid because I don't like to give up the control either. But I wanted them to play with as much of the things as possible. So I started doing like a tour. I call it the tour of the tools. Before they get their hands on anything and do any of the cooking, I go through everything they're going to touch and play with. And that's the majority of the show. And I'm just kind of walking them through and talking and doing all that. And then the little cooking part takes like literally 5 minutes.
Right.
Because everything's all set up there and they've heard about it all. So I kind of try to combine those two things because I do like them touching and playing with the tools. But I agree, it's so hard to let everybody hear everything. So I take probably 20 minutes going through every little thing they touch, including all those big products, and then they get to play with it. And if they have a problem with the measure all or whatever,
Right.
I've demonstrated it, and I usually end up doing the can opener for them because nobody can ever do it, and you want them to see, but that kind of thing. So that's just a little.
Right. Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Yes.
I understand since you have all the products and things to take, I have a group of newer consultants that do not have the bigger stuff yet, that do not have the income yet, haven't earned.
We're going to talk about that.
Sub-house. We are going to talk about that.
Got it.
Got it covered. Good.
So, alrighty, so when I say selling the right product, make sure that you've got items to demo from a high end all the way to a low end. I mean, I demoed the scoop loop. I love that scoop loop. And I tell people it's the best $5.50 you'll put in your kitchen. You know, but you have to give them a wide range of items to choose from because not everybody can walk in and spend $250 on the grill pan set, right? Those are the people that will book for it. Can you imagine? I will probably say 7 or 8 out of 10 of my shows are booking for the Rock or the Grill Pan. If you don't take that to your show and demo it, you are missing out on huge amounts of bookings. Big amounts of bookings. Because they want it. And when they know that their dinner can be done in 10 minutes, they need it, right? And you need to tell people, I understand we're busy with you know, your kids are in gymnastics or they're in T-ball or they're doing this and you're not getting home till 6 or 6:30 or 9. And then you're tired of standing in the kitchen for an hour. You know, I'll bring up freezer meal workshops with that as well. But I'll say you can literally have your dinner done in 10 minutes with this pan. And by the time you drive to Whataburger and drop $45 on dinner and drive home, your dinner could have been done in the grill pan and you saved yourself $30, if not more than that. With something you probably already got in your kitchen.
Huge.
You know, so you have to make it relatable. Make them go, oh my gosh, she's right, we do that. That's about how much I spend at Whataburger or Chick-fil-A or wherever they go. Make it relatable to them. You know, if you make it relatable, they're more apt to book and say, yeah, you know what, I really do need that. So we're going to demo from high end to low end. And then demoing from all categories of the catalog. If you aren't demoing something with a piece of cookware, again, you're doing your business a huge injustice. I have said this many a times anytime I talk to somebody. You need to at least, I may not demo the stoneware, but I talk about it. Because I talk about it when I bring up the rock. And I'll say, by the way, you know, if you don't have that microwave egg cooker, you really need to have that microwave egg cooker in the bar pan. The bar pan is essential for every single kitchen. So I may not demo it, but I'm talking about it. And then, of course, it leads me right back into the rock. And then I talk about the knives because I don't just bring the knife to my show and cut everything up with it. I'm going to talk about it. And you should talk about it because knives are things that are investments into people's kitchens. There's 2 things that are considered investments. It's cookware and it's knives. And those just happen to be the 2 things that we actually have a lifetime guarantee on, right? So you always talk about the knives because every kitchen should have a knife. You always talk about the cookware. So, from all categories, so you've got to demo the knives, you've got to demo something from the cookware. You're going to have your small tools with you regardless, right? And, you know, it's funny, Patty and I, we talk about this, they'll find those. Don't take 5 minutes out of your show to talk about the adjustable measuring spoons. They're $9. Okay, your 5 minutes is worth a whole lot more than the $9 purchase that they're going to be making. They will find the cheap stuff. I don't want to say cheap. They will find the less expensive stuff in the catalog on their own. You don't need to point that out to them. What you need to point out to them is the stuff they're going to automatically skip over as soon as they look at that price. But you've got to give them the reason to buy it or to book for it. So, all categories, remember that. What? I talk about it. I talk about it. Because again, your catalog is, you know, you said that your catalog is also a big seller for you. But if you at least touch on it and you get the benefit, you know, you get the benefits of stonework without having to, because somebody in that crowd has a piece of stonework. And somebody in that crowd is going to back you up with what you're saying. Right? They're going to have a bar band with a pizza pan and, oh my God, I can't tell you how happy I am about the new pizza stone. How many times in 4.5 years at my shows I have said, start with a large bar pan because the pizza pan doesn't have a lip around it. So the bar pan is more versatile. So when they came out with this new pizza stone, I was like, oh, yeah. So now I can gladly sell a pizza stone. So we're going to demo from all categories of the catalog, right? And then your new kit covers all of that. It really, really does. So, and then we're going to say, when I say get the right product, that's what you were talking about. If you don't, what I consider the right product, at every single show, no matter the recipe I'm doing, I'm always demoing the grill pan, the rock manual food processor, I have my 5-inch Santoku knife, and then I also have the, that's it, food processor, rock.
Stainless steel bowl.
Yeah, I take one. I don't have to necessarily talk about that a whole lot because somebody in the crowd usually will kind of point it out and go, oh my God, I have those bowls and I absolutely love them, you know? And then I'll say, yeah, these really are the best bowls, and a lot of people will book a show. It's a booking cue for me when I'll say a lot of people will book a show to get these bowls because they're almost $90. They're very hard to sell outright. I have sold them outright, but it's hard to sell those outright because people would rather take that $90 and put it into something else and just kind of cook their food on a daily basis, right? So, but it's a huge booking tool.
They're $99 starting tomorrow.
What?
That's I'm just saying.
But they're 99 now, the stainless steel bowls. So now there's going to be a stronger booking tool too for those bowls. But if somebody in the crowd has them, they will actually help you sell those bowls. And I'll tell people, you know, if you have feedback or you would like to say something, please feel free to. I'm a salesperson. I'm supposed to study on this stuff. You know, so if you've got something to say, please. I invite my guests always to talk about it. And I let them know, I know that you know I'm a salesperson. And I know that you know that I'm here to sell you anything and everything that I can possibly sell you that you're going to use. So I'm not going to let you use that as an excuse to not buy something. Listen to the crowd. And then, so get the right product. So this is what we started talking about. If you have a new consultant who just happens to not have the stuff, right? But what I would consider, this is my own personal opinion. I need to understand that. So I take the grill pan, the food processor, and the rock crop. Those are probably my 3 biggest items that I'm demoing. And then all the tools that go along with it. So if they don't have that stuff yet, and this is very redundant, they need to do their grand opening show. Period. They need to do their own grand opening show to get it. They need to understand it's a tax write-off, so it's going to benefit them not only on their taxes, but it's going to benefit their show. Because as soon as you start demoing the higher-end products, your bookings go up, your sales go up. You can sell $50 food processors all day long, but do you want to sell $50 food processors, or do you want to get more bookings and sell cookware also? Once they understand that concept, and they get that, they will see a huge change in their business. Of course, probably one of the biggest reasons I get bookings, honestly. Other than the fact they just want me to come hang out with them for a few hours. So that's my biggest thing. If they don't, what would you say to somebody if they didn't want to do their own grand opening? We need to do our own grand opening. I mean, some of them don't do their own grand opening. And I'll say that you need to take that first check and if you really want to see the results that you really, truly want, and you need to find out what they really want from this business too. You know? What's that? Right. That's true. That's true. I always forget about the paper shop.
They also can do it if they show along with bread. Sometimes they may do it along with somebody else.
Right. But they do need to find a way to get that product. And I'll tell them that. Find a way to get this in your kitchen. Absolutely. Now, I have a whole extra set of everything. So, I do loan it out.
Because then she's in charge.
I've had one consultant, I think she's had it 6 months, so she's like, I need to get that back to you now that I have my own. But you could loan it out because, you know, as a director, especially if you are a director, if you're receiving and you're doing your $5,000 or $6,000 in sales, you should have 2 of everything that comes in when a new product comes out. You should. But if not, you know, you have at least 1. But I have loaned my stuff out before. So that's another option for you. You can loan your stuff out if you want to. I know. Every time I'm, okay, I don't trust you, I don't trust you. So, or you can rent it out. here's your show, $50 a month as long as you keep it. So, that'll get them in here to own their own stuff really soon, right? But that's what you would recommend the grand opening show, whether it's co-hosting with a friend, the Pampered Chef dollars to use that because they do their $12.50 in their first 30 days, or loaning it out. Those are probably the 3 biggest ways for them to get that product. So, but don't let them get too comfortable with their product. Because they need to take responsibility for their business and get their own product. They really do. So, alrighty, and next, handling objections before they arrive. That is one thing when it comes to the double burner grill pan. And when I say how much, you know, what's the first thing you notice? Because you're addressing it. You're letting them know, yes, I know this is expensive. And one of the biggest things I will say when it comes to that double burner grill pan is this. Are you listening? That says $250. This is a lifetime guarantee on it. If you only use this pan for 20 years, you are only paying $12.50 a year for a pan that is non-toxic. It's not going to poison your family. It's never going to work. But you're going to get more than 20 years out of it. $12.50 a year for faster cooking and healthier cooking. So $12.50 doesn't sound like a lot of money, does it? So right at that moment it becomes reasonable. $12.50 a year. Yes.
Did you love what Doris Christopher said on the tape too? Did everyone catch that? The most expensive cookware that you will buy is, or most expensive cookware to own is that you replace every 2 to 3 years.
That's right.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, I started saying that at my shows. I said, by the way, do you know the most expensive cookware you will ever buy is the cookware you constantly have to replace?
Yeah.
And that kind of raises an eyebrow too.
You know, the other thing that I want to say is think of how much you make. I mean, what's important to you? How much do you make on selling at full price just one double burner grill pan? How much do you, yeah?
$75 makes a difference.
Yeah.
That double burner.
It depends on what your
Well,
commission. I was thinking like
true.
55 to
Mine's
70.
$75.
Right.
I mean, you know, if you're,
That's a lot.
Yes,
That's
it's a lot.
Yeah.
That, you know,
One
it's a
per-
water bill.
Right.
You know, if that's what you have to do in your head to reason it out why you should sell it, do that. You know, if I sell 3 double burner grill pan sets this month, I can pay myself a bill. Score, right? So whatever you have to do to tell yourself that that's why you need to sell this stuff. If it's not good enough for you to say, I have to sell this stuff because it makes your life easier. Because if I'm going to help you in that manner by putting better product in your kitchen to help your family eat better and faster, right? Tell yourself whatever it's going to take for you to sell that cookware or to sell the rock rocks. And please demo them. Demo them. Those are your strongest booking items that you possibly have. I mean, yourself and the product. That is how you get bookings, is by selling yourself. Why do you want to book with me? And what are you looking for? What is your goal from having the party? And why did you choose me? Because there are certain areas in this country, there's a lot of Pampered Chef consultants. They have many choices. They've been to other shows. So why choose you over that other person? Connie, was it your hand that was up?
You know, I was just going to say, years ago when I was just a stay-at-home mom, we had little kids, we had no extra money, there was a couple of sisters that did shows together. And to give people permission to spend that money and to say to them, you know, you would never mow the lawn with a pair of scissors, but when you don't have the right tools in your kitchen, essentially you're doing that. And I told a story about how I've been married for a long time, and we've never needed a chainsaw except for one windstorm. A couple of trees blew down that probably could have been cut up another way, but my husband thinks nothing of getting in his little truck and running to the store and buying a chainsaw, buzzes up trees for a couple of hours, hundreds of dollars, and it will sit in our garage for 20 more years. So why wouldn't you invest in something that's going to be in your kitchen that
That's
you're
right.
going to use day in and day
snow blower that you need when you've got
And you know what sold her? Was
3
also
feet.
your tone of voice. And how you presented that. You really presented it in a way that they related to you. I think that's a big deal.
Well, and that's the thing is you have to be relatable. That's part of selling yourself.
Yes.
Is being relatable by being honest,
Yeah.
by being knowledgeable. And I don't want to say convincing because you shouldn't have to convince anybody to buy this product. You should know enough about this product and demo it in the right manner that makes them go, I have to have this pan. I need this pan, whether I need to book a show to get it or I can just buy it tonight. And you will have customers all the time you will have customers who never want to book a show. They just want to pay full price for everything. Fine. We got to have them. I've had two personal orders from 2 different shows. One was over $1,000 and one was just over $1,100 in individual orders. That could have been the whole show. That person could have just made her order the show. You know, I don't offer that though because that totally screws the hostess, so I don't do that. But they know the options. They know that this could have been a show, but they don't want to have a show. That's fine. I'll take your $1,100 order. I'll go along all day with that. So, you know, other things. Yes.
I had heard your comment a while back about the 20 years, $1,250 a year, and I started adding to that. If instead you go to Bed Bath & Beyond every other year and spend $50 on a pan, you've spent twice as much in the same period of time.
That's right. That's right. And that's part of making it relatable because somebody in that crowd, most everybody in that crowd has gone somewhere and bought a pan that they weren't happy with 6 months after they bought it. You know, I had a hostess pull something out. She's like, I just bought this. 6 months ago, I paid $200 and something for this skillet, and it's already ruined. And I won't tell you the brand that it was, but I love it when we get to replace that brand stuff. So, yes. Somebody else have anything? No? Okay. Yes.
If you can't believe that you can sell that 250 pan and put yourself in that person's, position, you can save this much. So you're taking up your most, you can save this much by cooking your chicken here instead of going out to dinner.
That's right.
So just think of like 3 meals out that you paid up for.
Oh, and I tell people, I will say in my show, you'll pay for this pan within a month. By what you're not eating, by what you are not spending by not eating out anymore, what you're not spending in the gas to go out to eat anymore, the time you're going to save, you have more than paid for this pan in the first month. And your husband's not going to have a problem with you spending $250 because you're making his dinner with it.
And tell them what you could, and I don't know if you've been through that. I know it's on video. But all the different things that you do with your grill pan throughout the day. I don't know if anybody.
Like if I cook on it?
Yeah, a day in the life of the grill pan.
The life of my grill pan.
Yeah.
So bacon, I always reference the fact. Well, now in the double burner, I have 3 sons and I have a husband. So when it comes to making grilled cheese sandwiches, before March 1st last year, I had to do 2 batches of 4 sandwiches, or 2 batches of 4 pieces of French toast, right? So when the double burner grill pan came out, it totally changed the way I got to cook in my kitchen because I can do 8 grilled cheese sandwiches at one time. So again, people can relate to that right there, right? And you can say, I can do 8 pieces of French toast at one time if I want to. And if you've never done French toast in a grill pan, you should. Because it takes the soggy effect away and now makes it crispier. And people like to hear that too. Because there are people out there who don't like soggy bread, Then you can do a whole pound of bacon instead of just a half a pound of bacon, because who really wants just a half a pound of bacon? Exactly. The double burner, you can do the whole pound of bacon. You can do your breakfast sausage, you can do your links. I've reheated tamales in my grill pan before. You can butterfly your hot dogs and do your hot dogs. You can do hamburger steaks, you can do hamburgers. You can do pizzas in the grill pan. You can actually cook a pizza in the grill pan. I have customers who do omelets. I'm not a big egg person, but you can do omelets in the grill pan. And I never really thought you could. Yeah. And I never tried it because, again, I'm not an egg person. But when I had several customers come back and say, oh my God, it does great omelets. I'm like, what? Yeah. And it does. Yeah, you would think it would, but it has the grill marks and they absolutely love it. You're not going to use the press. Most of you should be able to figure that out. Okay? So, and then you can do fillets, you can do steaks, and I tell them whether you still want it mooing or you want it completely dead, that's going to determine on how long you're going to cook the steak, right? The chicken breast is done in 6 minutes. You can do pork chops in 4 to 8 minutes. thin pork chop, you've got 2 minutes on each side. It literally is that fast. And if it's a thicker pork chop, it's 4 minutes on each side. Dessert, you can do banana Fosters. I created a recipe about a year ago that is a grilled pound cake with a grilled pineapple and mango puree on top with a cream sauce.
Oh.
And it is like a restaurant-style dessert that is done right in your grill. I'll type it up and give it to you.
I'm just telling you, they're going to all be asking.
Put it on our little retreat page.
It is, it's a fabulous dessert. It's easily made in the grill pan. And it, like I said, it's kind of that, what you would almost get like from a restaurant, like a fancy dessert, but it takes maybe 8 or 9 minutes, and that's, you've got to grill the pound cake, you've got to grill the mango and the pineapple, and then the cream sauce you just whip up in the batter bowl. So, but it's been a big, big hit. And you can do other fruits too if you wanted to. It's just the pineapple and the mango are very, very easy to grill. Plus they've got this sugary content that caramelizes in the pan as well. So, and then I usually do the pound cake afterwards so that flavoring is left in the pan and then gets put onto the pound cake. So. Banana Fosters, and then I have the grilled pound cake. And I mean, you can grill fruit in there, you can grill vegetables in there. There's just so much that you can do in that grill pan.
The Amish do, the grill pan and the griddle are both huge things in their lives because they're not using the microwave. And they use it for breakfast with the potatoes and the vegetables, like the peppers, mushroom stuff. And then they pour, like frittata, they pour the scrambled eggs over it, and then put the whole thing in the oven and then just sprinkle shredded cheese on the top.
Yeah.
So you have like a great breakfast show.
It's, I mean, there's so many things you can do with this grill pan. Yes.
To me, it sounds like every day you are, the majority of the week, you are cooking at home. That's where you've gotten a lot of these tips.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
She does.
and that goes back to, it is very real world. It is, because here's the thing. And if you're recording, you may want to pause this for a second because home office might not like this. Your typical person is not a chef. Your typical mom, your typical wife, they don't want 15 ingredients in a recipe. They don't even have to read a recipe they can get away with it for the most part. So you need to make something, and this was on my list to talk about next, so I'm glad we're going here. Recipes. They have to be real. They have to be very realistic. That's what I love about the rock recipes, the Deep Cook Baker booklet that we have, that a lot of the consultants have to email out to their customers. The egg cooker recipe booklet. They're very real. You know why they're real? Because we created them. We created them in a real life American kitchen with kids running around all up through your legs, right, and on your stovetop. They're very, very real, and it's actually what people are going to eat. Not saying that people aren't going to eat what comes out of their cookbooks, because people, you do have your cookbook lovers who that's all they do is cook out of cookbooks. So they will cook that stuff. But you have people who want to be able to take 5 or 6 items, just dump it into something and get it done. And recipes are key with your product knowledge as well. So it's part of product knowledge. You need to know what to tell them to cook in these recipes. And when I tell people about the raw crock, now you can do the tenderloin in 9 minutes, and 2 of them in 14 minutes. And you can do an 18-minute meatloaf, and you can do pastas, and you can do cakes. And you know, that's relatable. That's what they want to know. You know, how long is this going to take? If I'm spending $135 on this pan, how long is this really going to take me? It's their choice to use the microwave or the oven. And I tell them, you can use either one. If you use the microwave, your dinner's going to be on your table in probably 25 minutes, less than 30 minutes. If you are not a microwave user, that's fine. You can use it in the oven, just know it's going to take longer. So that's their decision, but you are giving them the option. You're also giving them the recipes to use in it and making it very real to what they're actually going to cook, you know? Yeah. And make sure also, going back to, real quick, make sure when you decide what you want to demo at your show, don't let the recipe dictate what you're demoing. Every time I get a recipe, and I typically don't demo recipes that come from home office. You know, a lot of people use your recipe cards, they say turn this one into the demo. Tenille doesn't do that. Tenille does her own stuff, because what I will do is take, there's probably 10 recipes total that I've demoed over 4.5 years. That's it. I don't change it up a lot. I take the same product, other than maybe a few different tools based on that recipe, to do my demo. So you need to determine what do you want to sell. That determines what you're going to demo, and then you decide on the recipe. And my hostess has no clue. Well, I'm not going to say no clue. She gets no input on the recipe I bring to the show. None whatsoever. Because I tell her, I'm going to do what's going to bring you the highest sales possible. That's what I will tell her. And the most bookings as well. So make sure you are you choose the recipe and the product. The recipe goes with the product you want to demo. Don't let the recipe dictate what you're going to demo. I think that's a really, and again, this is all my personal opinion, but this is stuff that has worked for me over the last 4.5 years and how I've done. I mean, it's $450,000 in sales in 4.5 years, so I'm averaging $100,000 a year in sales. So you can trust it or you cannot trust it. It's completely up to you.
So what are you doing?
Right now I'm doing a chicken chili recipe. And I grilled the chicken, I grilled the poblano peppers, and in the food processor I take the grilled poblanos along with the fresh cilantro and chop them up to go into the chili. I have a can of chili beans, and this is a spin-off of 2010 Season Best Chipotle Chili Cornbread Baked. Do y'all remember that one? But it had hamburger meat, and it had a cup of salsa, and like the chili beans. So what I did is I knew I wanted to demo my grill pan. So you could do hamburger meat in a grill pan, I guess, but it kind of defeats the purpose. So I knew I wanted to demo my grill pan. So I took that recipe and completely changed it and turned it into what I wanted to demo with it. So I made it into a chicken chili, and most people have had a white chicken chili. Most people have never had a red chicken chili, and that's what I make, is a red chicken chili. So I have the chili tomatoes, I have a can of Mexican-style diced tomatoes, the chili beans, a can of corn, it's a southwestern chicken chili, I have the chicken, and I have the grilled poblanos, and then the cilantro that all gets chopped up in the manual food processor. And I'm doing the cherry chocolate cake in the rock crock. So I'm covering my rock crock, I'm covering my cookware, I'm covering the knife, I'm covering the manual food processor, and you know, the chef's tongs, and the salad choppers. Oh, that's what I didn't say a while ago. That's my number one, I ran a report, it's my number one selling personal product, is the salad choppers. So I sell them every single time. As a matter of fact, when I tell them to write them on their wish list, I'll say, you know, go ahead and write these down. They're on page 29, called salad choppers. It's my number one personal selling item. Put them, go ahead and write them on your wish list. I'll tell people, just go ahead and write, if you don't own them, just go ahead and write them on your wish list, because you're going to want them, you know. So I have my stainless steel bowl along with my salad choppers, and then I start chopping the chicken in front of everybody, and that goes into the chili. Now determining what I'm doing with that chili, because sometimes I'll make it into a Frito pie, or sometimes I'll do the cornbread on top. So if I'm doing the cornbread on top, then you know, I started off on the stove top just to kind of get things warm, and then do the cornbread on top and stick it in the microwave. If I'm doing it as a Frito pie, then I just do it all on the stove top. Because the thing is that I was making life harder on myself by doing the cornbread on top of the chili, because I was already doing the cake in the microwave with the rock rock. So a few weeks ago I was like, they already see the cake, so I've already impressed them with that. So I'm going to stop putting the cornbread on top. That takes 10 minutes off my demo. So I stopped doing that. But I still do the cheese grater, and I just grate the cheese in a small bowl.
Everything's in the grill pan.
What's that?
Everything's in the grill pan when you do on the stove top.
No. I take the second rock rock.
Oh.
So I grill the chicken and I grill the poblano peppers, get everything kind of chopped up and dump everything on the stove top. And my canned items are getting, you know, your salsa and your beans and your corn and your tomatoes. That's all getting hot on the stove, you know, on a 4 or 5. Chop everything up, add to it, grate the cheese, so the cheese goes on top of the chili, and there's no more cornbread. And I was doing the Frito pie, but I'm like, well, that's stupid. I'm just wasting money on groceries, so they just have chili.
Yeah.
Fritos, right? Because that's what they're eating anyway.
Let me tell you,
We're a little late for lunch.
we're 30 minutes late for lunch.
Oh my gosh.
So I thought it was going to be at 12:30 today, but it's
It's
at 12:30.
12:30.
Waiting on us for 30 minutes.
Okay,
Okay.
so we can, yeah.
We can